For Sisters of St. Joseph, finding a home in McSherrystown was an answer to prayer. Our foundress, Mother St. John Fournier, had prayed for what she called our own four walls. From her arrival in Philadelphia in 1847, she saw the need to provide a proper atmosphere for a novitiate, a home where she could welcome new members. As in many other necessities, she turned to her friend, Bishop John Newman, who suggested a home in McSherrystown, Pennsylvania. In his letter at the end of March 1854, he said, "There the sisters will be more comfortable." Mother St. John lost no time in responding to his offer. 4 weeks later, on May 2, 1854, 5 Sister of St. Joseph novices took a steam car from Philadelphia to Hanover, and then a carriage to McSherrystown. Because the house had been closed for almost 3 years, the sisters saw that it needed everything, including a thorough cleaning. Their McSherrystown neighbors sprang to their aid. Dr. Lilly and his mother gave them lodging and provided their meals until the house was habitable. After a neighbor turned the garden, Dr. Lilly began the process of planting the vegetables and instructing the sisters in the care of the garden. Mr. Thomas Ewing, a visitor from Philadelphia, did everything he could to help. Mrs. Sneeringer brought them a ham. The sisters rolled up their sleeves and after just 2 weeks were able to open St. Joseph's Day School for 18 girls. In September, the boarding school welcomed 8 students. As other needs developed, the sisters responded wholeheartedly. They welcomed orphan girls and later opened a school for blind children. Led by Mother Antoinette, some of them traveled to the Gettysburg battlefield to tend the wounds of soldiers on both sides of the conflict. They were truly ready for any good work. This spirit of generous response continued through the years. One example among many. When Sally Weiler's grandparents' home burned to the ground, she, her mother, and siblings lived with the sisters for 4 months until the house was repaired. She said, "Sister St. Aidan the cook took good care of us." This kind of neighborly kindness and warm hospitality were everywhere among the people of McSherrystown and its environs. It sprang from their strong faith. It flowed from their traditions of prayer and worship that were nurtured by Jesuit missionaries in the Kanawha Valley. The seeds sown long ago in McSherrystown have put down enduring roots and have blossomed in new and creative services for children and seniors. Let us listen now to the reflections of several sisters who have called McSherrystown their home.
I'm Sister Rose Albertine, and I was born in McSherrystown and have many happy memories of those days.
My name is Sister Marie Perpetua. Many people wonder with a name like that, but that was the name my mother and dad gave me when I was born. Apparently, my mother was very fond of one of our sisters, who daughter Rosanna went before me, and she decided to call me by her name. I am originally from the Basilica of the Sacred Heart in Kanawha, and lived in a little town called Edge Grove. People do not realize that our parish was made up of 3 small towns, and I find it very hard to explain to sisters who haven't been there what a wonderful place to have been from. Over the years, I spent time away from Conewaga, but eventually I came back to the academy in my retiring years. And while I was there, I enjoyed interacting with all the residents of the apartments there. Loved the challenge of playing cards with them, or bingo, or whatever. I think our sisters in that area are doing a wonderful service to the people who need to go into apartment living. And I was thankful for my years there. I also spent time at Paradise School for Boys. That was an experience also. I served in the capacity of driving the boys to the doctor or dentist or any other service that they needed.
Hi, my name is Sister St. Gervais. I attended St. Joseph's Academy in McSherrystown for 9 years. When I went there, when I was 8 years old, the first sister I met was Sister Mary Ann Paul. She was born in McSherrystown, but because she had ill health, they sent her back. Well, I think she just made me feel so much at home. She took me under her wing, and I can still hear her saying the children's hour. She loved poetry. So she was the first sister. The second sister that influenced me was Sister Thomas Joseph. Sister Thomas Joseph taught departmental between 8th and 9th grade, and she introduced us to Shakespeare's plays. But also, she explained Jesus' gift to us at the Last Supper so that we understood it. And as a result, I went to the 6:15 Mass every day, 8th grade, 9th grade, 10th grade, 11th, and 12th grade, because of Sister Thomas Joseph. She was the best teacher I ever had. And some years later, I was sent back to teach in the local high school, the Catholic high school. And those boys and girls were the best behaved children I ever taught. And they just were that way. The people were just different. I mean, I just noticed that. They were friendly, they were unobtrusive. There were very famous horse races around there, the shepherds. Alma Shepherd was my class. Alma Shepherd, you wouldn't think owned anything. She'd come in, bring little treats to us very unobtrusively. So what I picked up from the people was they were industrious, they were simple, they were good, and they were wonderful. And I went back many years to visit.
My name is Dolores Sneeringer. I was born in Bonneville, Pennsylvania. That's near McSherrystown in Hanover. We lived on a large farm, and when I went to St. Joseph's in Hanover, I had Mother St. Pius. She was the delight of the world. She was always out visiting the sick. We'd come home from school and she said, Dolores, let's go visit the sick. And we laid up in every home where there was any sickness or to the hospital. She was always going out to others and the other sisters in the area also. We loved her dearly.
My name is Sister Ignatia Maria. I'm one of the many Smiths from McSherrystown. I grew up there where they were numerous, but I never had any sister teaching me except a Sister of St. Joseph. So I'm a pure Sister of St. Joseph, and I just love them all. I'm so close to McSherrystown that I want to tell you how wonderful it is. Anyway, I started school at 5 years old. I lived about a mile from school, and we had to walk. And the winter I was in first grade must have been a very cruel winter, because by the time I got to school, I was crying, my feet were cold. Sister Anita Dolores, my first grade teacher, took me in the back of the room near the radiator, wrapped her shawl around my feet to warm me up. So I started right there to be a Sister of St. Joseph, I think. She was so good to me. I grew the importance of family prayer. Every night before we went to bed, we got on our knees. The first one who was ready to go to bed, that was a signal for all of us to get down on our knees and say our night prayers. Another thing I learned was respect for older people. My mother used to go visit all these older people in the area, and she called them all Grandma. I had a Grandma Noel and a Grandma Clunk and a Grandma somebody else that weren't really my grandmothers at all, but because they were older people, we had to call them grandmothers.
My name was Staub when I was taught by these nice ladies at St. Vincent's in Hanover, and I started out with Sister Joan here in first grade, which was a delight because she was very sweet to us, even though there were 55 to 60 of us in the class, not everybody behaved. And then I had Sister Ignatia when I was in 7th grade, and most of everything I learned, I think I learned in 7th grade from Sister Ignatia, because there was just, it was a really important grade for all of us, and we all learned a lot from it.